From seed to salad in just 7 weeks, in this week by week video I'm going to show you how easy it is to grow lettuce leaves. We are growing the Lollo Rossa variety of lettuce. It's crispy, it's red, it's delicious, it's easy to grow, it's cheap to find, doesn't require a lot of maintenance, and it will provide you lettuce leaves for a good couple of months. I'm going to be growing this in a cell tray, although it'll work just as well in a pot or directly in a raised bed, anything like that. It's so simple. If you are using a cell tray like I am, fill it up with your soil mix. I use a 1-to-1 ratio of topsoil and compost. The topsoil holds on to water, whereas the compost holds on to lots of nutrients. You don't need to firm the soil in too hard. The roots like it nice and fluffy. It has a better time growing down. However, you don't want any air pockets in there. So just gently press down each cell, like so, just to see if there are any air pockets. If there are, then just top it up with a little extra soil. In this case there are quite a few, so it's really satisfying watching this sped up. We now need to soak this. This soil needs to be really nice and wet for germination. So if you've got a tub, sit the whole tray in a tub and add some water and give it 10-15 minutes to soak up as much as possible. If you haven't got a tub, then you could just water it a couple of times, it would be the same. Just really make sure that soil's nice and wet. These trays do have a tendency to dry out quite quickly, so giving it a really good soak at the very start means that the seeds have a lot of water to germinate in, and it means that you don't have to water it so often. There we are, the obligatory displaying of the seed packet again. You'll notice that I've got the number 19 on my 2 labels here. I do things by week number rather than by date. I find it easier to work out how long something's been growing for. So these are being sown on week 19 of the year. The seeds are quite small and they do have a tendency to get stuck in the corner of the packet, so just give it a bit of a shake or a bit of a flick and they'll drop down into place. The seeds are quite small, do be careful, maybe don't do this on a windy day, or if you're going to do it on a windy day, do it inside. But they kind of look a little like that. That's what you're looking for. They won't be much larger than that. We're going to try and aim for a spread of 3 to 4 seeds per cell. This is to give us a good germination rate. And just sprinkle those over the surface there of our now damp soil. With the rest of the seeds, if you cup your hand and then you can kind of scoop them up like that with the packet, I found that's the easiest and safest way of getting them back in there. Fold that, pop that back in the packet, and that'll be good for another year or 2. Pop it, put it back. Pop it. Come on, you're making me look stupid. There we go. There we go, champ. Now what we want to do is just cover these cells with just a little bit more soil, just to make a really good seed to soil contact. Also protects the seeds and stops them drying out too quickly. So just sprinkle a little bit over the top, and then you're just going to press them down very gently. It also means when we water it later, the seeds then just don't wash away. As you're pressing this soil down the top, you'll feel that the soil below is nice and wet as well. Ta-da! And now I'll just give this one last water. It's going to feel like you're watering too much, but really this is good. This is a good start. Now, this can go on a windowsill. I'm going to put it in the bottom of my grow box. They don't need light just yet, so they can go down the bottom, and then I'm just going to zip that up just to keep the warmth in. But again, a windowsill would be absolutely fine. Check in after week 1, so this will be week 2. You can see that we've got a little bit of germination. 1, 2, focus, there we go. We've got 1, maybe 2, but just a little bit. After a week though, I wasn't expecting a huge amount. Week 3, now this is looking good. Now we've got full germination across all of the cells. They are starting to lean a little towards the light, so rotate the tray every few days just to make sure they grow upright. Okay, week 4, they're doubling in size every week now, looking very strong and healthy, nice and green. Okay, it's time to transplant them on week 4. Hello! This is where I'm going to be planting them. I've installed this quite a long window box. One half is going to be spinach, the other half is going to be my lettuce. I'm filling it with the same mix as in the tray. That helps to reduce the shock because the seedlings are now used to that kind of mixture. I'm just going to press it down right into the corners, make sure you get as much soil in here as possible, because this is a very hot wall. This will dry out quicker than most, so I'm just going to make sure that it's nice and full just to hold on to as much water as possible. And I'm just going to then give that a water, just give that a kickstart too. Giving it a water also makes making the holes for transplanting a little easier. Now grab yourself a pencil and grab yourself some kind of container to hold your plugs. Now the trick is to take the labels first, obviously, that's the trick. The trick is to poke the pencil through the hole in the bottom of the cell and then gently pull the plug out, and as you can see there's a good amount of roots in the bottom there. You know that the cell is ready to be transplanted if you've got roots on display like that. I'm not going to take all of these, I'm going to take the healthiest 10 just because I don't need that many plants. So I'm just going to take the strongest ones, the rest will go back into the compost heap. There we go. Now grab yourself a dibber or a stick or a tool handle or something, and it makes this process a lot easier. Pop your labels in, and then make your holes at the same depth and width as the plugs that you're about to transplant. If you get them the right size, you can literally just drop them straight into the hole. So pop those in, and then using a finger on either side of the plant, just gently push down into the hole just to make sure those roots go right down to the bottom. And do that for all of them. Leave a bit of space between, an inch or two would be nice. It will fill that space, don't worry, it looks like it's quite bare. Honestly, it will fill that. Okay, the following week, I believe this is week 5, you can see that they're happy in this home here. They've bulked up a little bit. And then week 6, you can see they're even stronger again. Again, doubled in size. They've almost filled the gap between. Almost. And then week 7, they've completely filled that space and we've got some nice sized leaves. These are now ready to be harvested. So 7 weeks from start to finish, not long at all. I could also have sprinkled these in place. I just find it a little bit easier to control them. And it also means that I could have had something else in here growing while they were going in the grow house. Okay, so harvesting is very straightforward. What you want to do is grab yourself something to collect the leaves in and a little pair of scissors. I tend to use scissors rather than ripping. You're taking the largest leaves from the strongest plants. We take the largest because it then allows more sunlight to hit the rest of the plant. We don't need to harvest so many because we're taking bigger leaves, which then leaves more energy for the plant. And the largest are the most developed, which means they've got the most flavour. So just go around, try and be as even as possible. Take the largest leaves from all of the plants and only take as many as you need. Look at that. That's going to be tasty. This plant should give you leaves for around 2 months. While I'm here, I'm also going to cut some of the spinach. Same process again, just take the largest, the tallest leaves, take the strongest ones. Don't worry if there's a little bit of damage, that's fine, that's okay. We're going to wash it anyway. I planted this spinach at the same time, so this also took 7 weeks. So if you do want to marry two things up, spinach and lettuce goes hand in hand quite well. There we go. I'm also going to cut some other lettuce leaves I had elsewhere just to bulk this up a little bit. I'm going to grab some spring onions because I'm going to chop some of those up in there, and also I've got more than I need. I'm also going to cut some garlic chive because it's so tasty. Oh, watch your fingers. Watch your fingers. Okay, pay attention. Right. Cutting like a master, here you go. Right. So chop up your spring onions, being careful obviously, and then rip up your lettuce in your bowl. Don't worry about cutting it, what's the point, just rip it, it's fine. Chuck that in some kind of sieve and give it a wash under some cold water just to get any, if you sprayed anything to keep the bugs off, or if there are any aphids, it just gets rid of them if you just give it a rinse. Upend that onto a dry and clean tea towel, roll it up and give it a shake to get the water out. Like so. Don't need to do much more than that really. There we go, look at that. Grab a big handful, pop it on the side of your plate and sprinkle over some of your garlic chives or whatever you've cut to go with it. And there you are, that's your dinner. Dinner right there. You made that, you grew that, you should be proud of yourself. Doesn't that look tasty? Obviously we're not just going to have that on its own, we're going to have that with some of Lady Thorny Pot's carrot tart, which is one of my favourites. I really hope you enjoyed this video, it was a lot of fun to make. If you did enjoy it, please leave us a like and do subscribe. It really helps the channel out and allows me to make more videos like this. If you have any tips or advice for others, please chuck them down in the comments so we can all learn and grow together. There's also a few videos here which you might find interesting. Happy growing!